concerns, we'll talk about the fights, 845-228-8710. The co-main event on the Madison Square Garden fight was a bit controversial, at least according to the commentators, and then all the press after that. Bryant Jennings improved to 19-0 with 10 knockouts when he won a split decision against Mike Perez, who loses for the first time in his career. He drops to 20 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. The way the scores were, 114, 113 for Perez, 114, 113 for Jennings, and the other judge had it 115, 112 for Jennings. And the whole thing was this. Harvey Dock deducted a point in the 12th round that even my man Harold Letterman flipped out about and everything else. Here's the thing. Now maybe Harold wasn't watching because Harold knows his stuff about boxing, and I'm in, I guess, the minority here. I don't think Harvey Dock blew the call, and I'll tell you why. Now, first of all, this is me saying this after I had the luxury of watching a replay. I didn't quite understand what was going on in the moment. Now, throughout the fight, Mike Perez was definitely, fighting a little questionable fairness. He was using his head a little bit. He was using, roughhouse tactics. I'm okay with that. But the last several rounds, he was literally, and even Harold mentioned this, he was literally holding on to Jennings and pushing him all the way across the ring till they bounced up against the ropes. And Jennings would have to fight his way out. Harvey Dock was warning them in between rounds. But whether he took the point away for that or whether he took the point away for what I saw on the replay, I haven't had a chance to ask Harvey Dock. He's not allowed to really speak to the press according to the gag order that the new director of boxing has put on all the officials. But if you watch the replay, to me, Mike Perez could have been disqualified. Not a point, disqualified. Why, you ask? Why, Billy C? Because he did an intentional headbutt. He launched his head. It landed right under the chin of Jennings. Go watch it. Go watch it. Now I got to see this as the luxury of an instant replay, which Harvey Dock did not see. He didn't see a replay. He called it because he saw it happen live. At least that's what I'm assuming. Because if he called it for something else and missed the headbutt, like so many other people apparently have, the intentional headbutt, not a nonchalant, the heads clash. I'm talking about his head was down and he lifted it up, similar to what Ortiz did to Floyd Mayweather, which I, to this day, believe that if Joe Cortez was half the referee that people think he was, that he should have DQ'd Victor Ortiz. Anytime someone launches their self at you, launches their head at you to use your head as a punch, should automatically be disqualified. Yes, there's inadvertent head clashes. Yes, there are fighters out there that can kind of do a headbutt nonchalantly and it doesn't look intentional, a la Evander Holyfield, fighters like that. But when you launch your body, when you intentionally headbutt your opponent, it should be an immediate disqualification. I think Harvey Dock did him a favor by only taking away 1 point because most referees will take away 2 for an intentional headbutt. So I disagree with all of the people that were beating up Harvey Dock. And of all people, one of the worst trainers in the sport of boxing has to sit there and say, you're a terrible referee. This is what he says. Adam Booth, you're a terrible referee. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw an intentional headbutt. I saw a point get taken away. That's what I saw. I got a caller on the line right now. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Augie out of Long Island.
Augie, my man. What's up, brother?
Triple G fight. I got a question to you.
What?
the quality of his opponents is getting disgusting. It's a shame to see a man of that quality of a Triple G fighting somebody that he knows he can take without even trying. How do they get these fights together?
Well, let me ask you something. Now, Daniel Geale was a world champion, right? And he is ranked in. We have non-biased rankings on Billy C Boxing. We have our top 10. We don't go by the sanctioning bodies. They have all their own. We basically have a computerized system and a panel, et cetera, et cetera. We have Daniel Geale ranked going into this fight last week. We do our rankings every week. We had him in our top 10 at number 6. When you look at the middleweights, who else is there for him to fight? Right now, we got him. We could see him fighting Cotto or Sam Solomon is another champion. Peter Quinlan's another. I mean, who would you want to see him fight, Augie?
I guess I would like to see him Alvarez.
Well, Alvarez is in a different weight class. I agree with you. No, and if we could bring Marvin Hagler back in a time machine, we'd like to see that. Listen, I hear what you're saying. It's unfortunate that there's not these two guys that we could put against and start to see some type of a historical trifecta or something like that. Parallel fights where these guys can fight each other. But unfortunately, there's nobody there. I mean, it's the same thing. We can only blame fighters who don't fight other fighters that are available to them. But when fighters fight everybody that's available, we can't really blame the fighter for having a weak middleweight. The middleweight division is weak right now. I mean, I don't see Miguel Cotto's ranked number 1. He beat Sergio Martinez. Do you think Miguel Cotto has a chance with Triple G?
No.
Do you think that Sergio Martinez has a chance with Triple G?
No.
Is there anyone in the middleweight division that has a chance with this guy? And the funny thing about it, Augie, is I don't think he's a big guy. Do you think that he looked that much bigger than Daniel Geale, like that, where we're saying, he's picking on a smaller middleweight? I mean, I thought he looked the same size, if not smaller.
No, he has the Gotti, and he's a Gotti fighter. Like, he comes to fight. He don't come to. He wants to really get it on. He don't fool around.
But you know what else he does, Augie, and I know you know the sport. He's a guy that puts his opponents in position so he can knock them out. Daniel Geale was trying his hardest to box him. He was trying to circle one way, then Triple G would cut off the ring. Then he would have to circle off the other way, and Triple G would
pushing him to the corners.
Yes, and every time, if you watch the replay, Triple G never lets his opponents make him take a step backwards. When his opponent takes a step forward, Triple G is ready to meet him right there. Then he forces his opponent to take that step back. That's how he cuts that ring off and makes the ring smaller and smaller and smaller, and then until he gets him against the corner, and that's right where he wants him. Then forget about it. We all saw what happened. Did you ever see, let me rephrase it, have you seen a guy that took a solid shot from a fighter and in the same motion knocks out a fighter with one punch the way Triple G did on Saturday?
I was trying to, with my son, trying to bring who I could down. I couldn't get somebody offhand, but not that, before I lose this thought, this man from Huntington's going to fight him, I think now. Is that, some word about that?
Who, Chris Algieri?
Yeah.
No, Chris Algieri is fighting Manny Pacquiao at 140. Well, it's a 147-pound title that's on the line, but they're fighting at 140.
Chris Algieri can go up in weight. He's a big man, tall guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he does seem pretty big, and he's a boxer. I mean, listen. We'll have to wait and see what happens. He's got a big fight coming, up in November against Manny Pacquiao, Chris Algieri. I don't see anybody. Maybe Peter Quinlan, Kid Chocolate. Maybe they put him in with Triple G. I don't see him lasting. I really don't see anybody in the middleweight division lasting with Triple G.
Yeah, well, with Geale, if you recall, I do recall, you called this fight about a month or so ago. You said you don't think he's in his class for this guy.
No, and I said the other day that I didn't think this fight would go 4 rounds. And
That's right.
it didn't. Listen, Triple G needs what he needs is he needs a good middleweight to fight just to get people to believe in him. It's hard, it's like a catch-22. We're watching him fight these guys, and we're all wondering, is he that good? Is he just fighting weak opposition? I think the kid is that good, and it's a shame. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to be talking a little bit about an extended deal he just did with HBO, and so we're going to get to see. I think he's our next. Listen, I think Triple G and Sergey Kovalev, the guy that we're going to see this weekend, I think that these are the two next big stars of boxing, aside from Alvarez. I think those are your three big superstars in the sport right now. Mayweather's not going to be around forever. Pacquiao's not going to be around forever. They probably got one year left each, maybe two. And then who's going to replace them? We know Alvarez is one. I think these two guys, Triple G and Kovalev, are the next two.
I think the public has got to know Mayweather now. I think it's that they know that he's cherry picking is going on, and they know what's going on. I think that's they're not going to go for this pay-per-view like this anymore.
No, he's got his fans, and most of the other people are just they're looking on. They're longing for something else, and I think we're finding it right now. And I think that HBO, people were critical of HBO. I really think, and I'm critical of some of the commentating and stuff like that. But as far as the shows and as far as the matchups, I think they're doing a good job, and I think they're really going to excel. I think Showtime has taken a couple of steps back, especially with this Danny Garcia fight coming up. I think HBO's got some breathing room right now, and I think we're going to see some good fights over the next year or so on HBO.
Garcia lost that last fight.
Oh yeah, but his next fight is against a guy that it's not even being sanctioned as a title. He's that bad. And all three of the fights on that card are all terrible. They're all Showtime. They're all
the
Al Heyman.
heavyweights were disgraced this on that fight column of the weekend.
The what?
He ran out of breath. The Cuban.
Oh, yeah, well, he runs out of gas, but he has an awful, that trainer, that used to be David Hayes' trainer, that guy is terrible. I think, these fighters, Augie, that change trainers like I change socks, that, it affects them, man. That when you look in the history of boxing, the guys that stick with the same trainer for long periods of time, if not their whole career, are generally more successful for the whole length of their careers, because they get used to one voice, they know each other, and they work as a team. This guy screwed this kid. I like Perez. I think Perez is a good fighter. I think he should have beaten. I mean, I picked Jennings, but I think he should have beaten Jennings.